Hello, magnetic queens, and welcome to the Toned and Transformed podcast, the place where you learn how to sculpt a beautiful feminine hourglass shape and how to grow your faith in Jesus so you can live a purposeful, fulfilled life full of joy and full of peace. And today I am so excited because we're gonna talk about glutes. I am gonna be busting 4 stubborn myths that are keeping you from making serious glute gains, because again, we're here to sculpt our bodies and there is no sculpt feminine body without the glutes. And I am so passionate about this topic because it has been part of my story, which I'm gonna get into in a bit, and I don't want you to do the same mistakes that I did and that so many people keep doing. And stay until the end because I have a special announcement which you're gonna be so excited about. So I put on my leggings because we need to move a little bit with this episode, so I recommend you watching this. If you listen to it, you will be fine as well, but I'm gonna show a little thing. I'm gonna show a few movements that are important to train the glutes. So yeah, if you can watch it, then watch it. So if you wanna make some serious glute gains, this episode is gonna benefit you and it's gonna bless you because you need to know what to do. You cannot just go to the gym and just train randomly and think you're training your glutes, because so many women think they're training their glutes when in reality they're training their legs or they're hurting the lower back or all of those things. So I do not want this to happen to you. So a little bit on my story. When I started, I'm a Latina, as many of you know. I was born in Colombia and I lived there until I was 6 years old. Both my parents are Colombian, so I should have the full Latin genes, but I had no butt. I had no Latina butt. There was even a guy a few years ago, like many years ago, before I even trained, he told me that he didn't believe that I'm a Latina because I have no butt. So this is something that, I was really lacking, and this is one of the reasons that I'm so passionate about building glutes, because I have been doing it and I have been practicing building glutes on myself. I have tried so many things until it worked, and on my clients. Now I build my clients' glutes as well, and I have transformed some serious glutes. And this is just one of the things that I love teaching. Like in the fitness area, when it comes to the physical side, because there's also the mental side that I'm so passionate about. And you know, I'm so passionate about Jesus and about faith, and this is the foundation. It's the foundation. That's what I want to mention. It's not, you should not find your worth in your glutes, in your belly, in how you look. But there's nothing wrong with wanting to look fabulous. And it's a beautiful addition. So yeah, this is just what I want to say. The foundation is your self-esteem, your mindset, and the rest will be added. So yeah, but from the physical side, the thing that I am passionate about the most, like when we're talking just from the physical side, just from the looks, are glutes and the belly, because this was the main thing I wanted to change about myself, and it seemed hard in the beginning. I didn't know how, because I would have so tiny legs, tiny arms, no glutes, and I would grow fat first in my stomach. So I did not have this hourglass shape, and I was dreaming about this. So I learned how to build my glutes and also your glutes, and I learned how to flatten my belly. We have talked about the belly before. Maybe I'm gonna do another episode if you wish, but today it's all about the glutes. So for the glutes, it's important to know what to do. And before we go into the myths, I want to give you a little bit of theory so you have some tools in advance. So for the glutes, it is important to have progressive overload in your training. It means that you have to progress, you have to either add more weight, or you have to make the movements more slowly, or you have to add bands or something with time. Because if you keep doing the same thing, it's like with all things in training, then you're not gonna make any progress. So you need to be increasing the intensity in some way, shape, or form. And it's not by adding more reps, because more than 15 to 20 reps, let's say, is not effective. I do not want you to do 50 body weight kickbacks, because this is not gonna help you shape your glutes. It's not gonna help you grow your glutes, and it's not gonna help you shape the glutes. So another thing that I want to tell you and that I want to show you is that the glute muscle consists of the big glute muscle of the gluteus maximus, the gluteus medius, the medium one, and the gluteus minimus, the small one. And this is very important, because as we have those three parts, we have different functions in the glutes, and it's important to understand the functions. But because when you know the functions of the glutes, then you basically can create your own exercises, or you know what the exercises are for. So one thing, and the main function of the glutes, is the hip extension. This is when you're standing and you're extending your hip like this, but without arching your back. The hip extension is the main function of the big glute muscle. Then we have the abduction. The abduction is when you're putting your legs, when you're opening up, when you're putting your legs like away from your body, like this is an abduction. So when you're sitting on the machine and you're doing this, you're training the glutes. Actually, you have to lean forward, then you're feeling the glutes more. But yeah, another one is the external rotation. It's this small movement. It's just like rotating it out. This helps when in exercises. This is why in exercises, for example, hip thrust or other exercises, you don't have your feet parallel, but you have them externally rotated, because this will activate the glutes more. And then you have another important one, and this is the stability. So whenever you're doing some exercise with one leg, and you have to stabilize, your glutes, especially your glute medius, is at work. And this is what will make you the round butt. So stability exercises are really important. And then there's another way to train your glutes. It's not a glute function, but it's the glute stretch, but with weight. And when you're doing this glute stretch, you're stressing the muscle and you're destroying the muscle fibers, which is what we want to do in training. When you're going to work out and you want to build your muscle, you need to destroy the muscle fibers, because then you fill them up with food, and we're going to come to the topic of food shortly, in a short time, and it builds up again, and this is how the muscle grows. So you want to stress your muscle fibers, and when you are stretching your glutes and overloading them with some weight, you will do that. You will destroy the fibers, and they will build up again with the food, and they will grow. And this is what you do, for example, in a Romanian deadlift. When you're like that, and when you're leaning back, you're feeling the stretch here. So this is how you train your glutes, with those functions. And all of the exercises you may know for glutes include those functions, and this is why they work. But they only work when you know how to do them, and we're going to come to that. One thing that I need you to know is the food. It is important, because otherwise you can't train your glutes however you want to train them. You will not grow them. You need protein. I've said it once, and I will never ever stop saying it. You need the protein to build your muscle. But in addition, you need all the other nutrients for your body to keep working, for your hormones to keep working, and also to give you energy. So you also need your carbs, and you also need your fat. And especially you need carbs to have more energy, to progressive overload during the training, and to build those glutes. So you cannot be eating too little or else your glutes will not grow. You don't have to eat a lot of calories, but you do have to eat to grow your glutes. Now it depends if you're on a fat loss phase or if you're in a building phase. But there's one thing I need to mention. If you are in a fat loss phase, you need to be training your glutes intensively. You cannot not train your glutes, because I've experienced it in the past when I was dieting for competition. I thought I had a booty, I thought I looked great, but in reality it was mostly the fat that was accumulated there, but it looked great. It didn't look like cellulite, but it looked like a round butt. And when I lost that fat, there was not much left. So you have to train your glutes hard when you're dieting, so you have the muscle that feels it. Just something for you to know. And the longer you train, the more you will keep those glute muscles and you will see the glutes even when you're lean. Because what we're doing is we're building the muscle. This is what I wanted to mention. So food is important. If you eat way too little, you will not grow a butt, believe me. If you have abs and you are naturally a bit more skinny and you wanna keep your abs so bad that you're not willing to eat more, you're not gonna build any glutes. You're gonna keep your abs, but you're not gonna build any glutes. So you may have to say goodbye to your abs for a time, for a few months. Does not mean that you're gonna accumulate a lot of fat in your belly, but just a little bit to cover the abs. But it will still look good if you get the rest right, and you will grow some glutes. This is something that I needed to mention. And with that being said, let's dive into the myths, because this is really important for you to know. And the number one myth that still stays stubborn is that squats are the best exercise for glutes. There are even like those pictures on the internet that says squats are a girl's best friend, do squats for glutes. Again, and I've said it so many times, the squat is not a glute exercise. Forget the squat as a glute exercise. It is a leg exercise, and I'm gonna prove you why. The squat is a leg exercise because what are you doing with the squat? You're starting at the down position. I hope you see it on the camera. And you're standing up and sitting down, standing up and sitting down. So with the leg, what you're actually doing, you have the leg bent. And when you're standing up, you're extending the leg. Up, you're extending the leg. It is the same thing as if you would do this. You have the leg bent and now you're extending it. And the muscle that extends the leg is not the glutes. The muscle that extends the leg is the quad here. So the squat is a quad exercise. So if you want your butt to stand out more than your legs, you should not be doing too many squats because it's not a glute exercise. It is a quad exercise. I just have to repeat it. And I know so many women who they have shaped legs because they train and everything, but they have no glutes. And it's mostly due to the wrong choice of exercise and due to the wrong activation. They don't know how to activate their glutes. So this is one thing I want you to keep in mind. The squat is not a glute exercise. Now there's a few exceptions like the sumo squat. It is more glute focused because you are having a stretch when you're going down and we're stressing the muscle with the stretch. So this is why it is a glute exercise. Or there's variations where you squat and you sit back a little bit. But then it's more of a deadlift than a squat. So the squat, the normal squat again, is a leg exercise. This is the first thing I want you to know. And after this, we could already close this podcast. No, just joking. We have a few other myths ahead. Second one, okay, we have 3 more. Second one, And this is what I believed for a long time, is that you need heavy weights to grow your glutes, and only heavy weights. And while you do need to increase the weight with the time and you need to get better, this is not necessarily true. You don't need the heaviest weights to grow your glutes. The first thing I want to tell you is that the most important thing is the mind-muscle connection in general when you're training, but with your glutes, it's especially that. You need to be feeling your glutes. And maybe with some exercises, you're feeling more your legs than your glutes, or you're feeling more your lower back than your glutes. Then you need to decrease the weight and you need to work on feeling the glutes. There's a lot of techniques to improve that. This podcast would be too long, and I cannot show you everything now here on camera because I don't have enough space, and it would be way too long to explain you how to feel the glutes instead of the quads or the back. But again, stay tuned until the end because I have a great announcement and you're gonna love it. But yeah, practice with less weight, and you should feel your glutes even though you have no weight. If you're doing the movement correctly, you will feel the burn without any weight, which does not mean that you should keep going without weight. You have to increase with the time, but yeah, you should aim to feel the glutes first before you go and increase the weight. This is a mistake I did in the past, that I immediately wanted my clients in the past to increase the weight fast, and then they ended up not really feeling the glutes, not really concentrating on their glutes, and this caused them their gains. So now first I really focus on them feeling the glutes, activating the glutes, knowing how to feel them, and then we can increase the weight, because I do love a heavy hip thrust, and I think this is one of the greatest exercises for grow your glutes, the barbell hip thrust. But it's not the only one, and there's so many other variations and so many other things. And you may not be able to use that much weight because you may not be in a gym, you may not have the setup to put on the plates, or it may be, yeah, you may not know how to use this, and there's other reasons why you may not be able to do this. Maybe you have an injury or something, or it's hurting. If you know how to set up, it won't hurt, but still, there is ways to work around that. Or yeah, there is ways to work around having to use high weight for your hip thrust. Even though if you can do it, I definitely recommend implementing it from time to time. But yeah, just know that training heavy is not the only thing necessary. You could also train with one leg, and when you're doing single leg hip thrust, believe me, you will not even take a fourth of the weight that you're taking with both legs. You will take much less weight and you will feel it. So if you're on vacation or somewhere, one leg hip thrust is one great option. So just be aware that you need the mind-muscle connection first, and then you can vary. You can vary with more heavier exercises and with lighter exercises. And one thing here I need you to know is that we have different types of muscle fibers. We have fast twitch fibers and we have slow twitch fibers. And the fast twitch fibers, they respond to more explosive movements and to less reps because they are less resistant, but they're stronger. They can take heavier loads, and when you're lifting heavier loads, they're activated. And when you're lifting, you're doing a heavy hip thrust, for example, you're not doing that movement slow. You're not going slowly up, because if you would be doing that, you could not carry the weight up. You're doing it explosively, so you can carry the heavy weight up. And this is what activates the fast twitch muscle fibers. And we have almost 50%, I think we have 55 to 49%, but it's to 48% actually, but yeah. but it's actually almost 50-50 of fast twitch and then slow twitch fibers. And the slow twitch fibers, they are more resistant, but they're not that strong. So they can take lighter loads for a longer time. So for example, this is when you would do more reps. When you do some kickbacks for 15 reps, it could even be 20 reps. I would recommend more 15 than 20, but yeah. Or the things that you're doing with the mini band, for example, that burn. They're training the slow twitch muscle fibers. And to really get a full round butt and to take the most out of your training, you need to activate both muscle fibers, the fast twitch and the slow twitch muscle fibers. This means you can combine, or you should combine, heavier exercises with lighter exercises, and you will have the perfect recipe for an amazing butt. Remember that the combination is what makes it. You don't need to do 100,000 exercises. You need to choose the right ones. I'm gonna give you my favorites also later. But you need to variate between more heavier and more lighter. And when we're talking about heavier reps, I would not necessarily go below 8 reps. 6 reps minimum, but there you're not really focusing on the glutes anymore. With a hip thrust, maybe to improve, you could go for 6 reps for improving, and this will help you also with the lighter weight, and this will help you to also get stronger on more reps. But other than that, I will stick to about 8 reps, and then I would go to 15-20 reps max. There's so many great exercises. There are exercises that are more for heavier weights, and there are exercises that are more for lighter weights. But if I would name everything, this podcast would be way too long. So let's go to the next myth that so many people believe and that I want to debunk, because nobody in this world should still believe that myth. And I've experienced it on myself and on clients. And this myth is that the genetics determine everything. That either you have glute genetics or you don't have glute genetics. Either you're made to have a booty or you will never have one. And this is just an excuse and a misconception, because I have seen the craziest glute transformations without surgery, because I have known the people, and there were people with literally no glutes, and then they have such a beautiful round peach, because I have seen it on myself. I will leave you a before and after picture. I have seen it on myself, and I have seen it on clients. You can definitely build your glutes. You can make small glutes to no glutes, to small and no glutes to round glutes. Everybody can build the glutes. The reason why people train for a long time and they don't build glutes is either they're not eating enough, which a lot of people do this mistake, or they're not having the mind-muscle connection. They're actually not training the glutes, even though they're doing glute exercises, but they're training their lower back, they're training their legs, but they're not training the glutes. This is also one of the most common ones, and this was one mistake that I did for the longest time. Or they're doing the wrong exercises for glutes, like squats. Those are really the 3 reasons why you're not growing a butt. It's not your genetic. Forget about the genetics. I have seen too many people grow the glutes from scratch to believe that there is anyone who is not able to grow their glutes. You can grow your glutes. You just need to be willing to do it. You just need to know how to do it. And you need to be willing to push yourself, because another exactly another reason why you're not growing the butt is that you're always doing the same, that you're not progressive overloading, that you're not increasing the weight, that you're not doing intensity techniques, that you're not really like getting better. So this is also important. You need to push yourself through your limits in your trainings to grow those glutes. This is important. And the fourth myth, fourth and last one for here, is that the glutes are all about aesthetics. So there's people that may say, I don't care about my glutes. I don't need glutes. I am happy like I am and I don't need to train my glutes. Let me tell you, everybody needs to train the glutes. Everybody. Alone for health reasons, because the glute is the largest muscle and it's the biggest stability muscle. As I told you, one of the functions is to stabilize yourself. And if you don't want to have lower back pain in the future, or if you already have it, you need to build your glutes. There is no other way around that. You need to build your glutes, because often when our glutes are too weak, and they're often too weak because we're sitting all day and we're sitting on our butt and it's not active, then you're gonna try to take, or your lower back is gonna try to take over, to stabilize yourself, to carry your groceries, to carry your children or whatever. So when the lower back is taking over, it will tense up and it will hurt. And the biggest mistake that I see people doing with back pain, please avoid this mistake, is that they start training the lower back because they think it hurts because it's too weak, when actually it's way too tense already. So by training it, they will tense it even more and it will hurt more. You have to train your glutes when your lower back is hurting. You also have to do other things like training your deep core muscle to stabilize your back, and you have to stretch your hip flexor, because when this is active, this is connected to the lower back and will give you lower back pain. So the three main things to lower lower back pain, and maybe I will do a whole episode on that because this topic is so important, is the main three things is to train your glutes, to train your deep core muscle, and to stretch your hip flexor. Yes, this is what I wanted to say. You need glutes. If you want a good posture, if you want your everyday life to be easy, if you want to be able to play around with your kids without having back pain, if you want to be active when you're older, you need to train your glutes. And also if you're doing some other kind of sports, some athletic sports, you need to train the glutes because they really help stabilize you and help you have more power with sports, with other sports. So yes, if you want to be more athletic, also train your glutes. Your glutes are important not only for aesthetics but also for health. And with that, we busted myth number 4. I forgot that I wanted to tell you my favorite glute exercise, so take notes. Number 1, the best one for me, is the hip thrust, because you have a direct hip extension, and with that movement you're actually raising a weight, a heavy weight. Your glutes are in full action. What I also love and hate, because it is hard but it's great, it's Bulgarian split squats. I know everybody hates it, but it's such a great exercise for the glutes. You have the stabilization, you also have the stretch of the hip flexor, you have so many things. So Bulgarian split squats are the second one that I really love. Then I really do love the Romanian deadlift, even though with this one you have to pay attention to not do it too often, because this will hinder the recovery of your glutes and then they will not grow. So yeah, I wouldn't do it more than once a week, but I really love those. Now there's the abduction on the machine that I love. There's so many band exercises that I love, But the secret to train your aura, and one single leg hip thrust is a killer. But the key is actually how you combine the exercises. The combination of the exercises, and there are some killer combinations, plus the focus is the key to growing your glutes. And if you know how to combine the exercises, you don't need a lot of weight to grow those glutes. So this is what I needed to mention. The combination is everything. And so now that we've busted the most common myths about building the glutes, I hope that you have the tools and the motivation that you need to go after those booty gains. Because there's so much misinformation out there that I really wanted to bring more clarity in there and to give you encouragement that you can build your glutes. And also your age does not matter. If you focus on how to train, on the functions of the technique, on the things that I told you, then you will grow your glutes no matter what age. And speaking of results, speaking of growing your glutes, I have something super exciting coming, which I will not tell you the details yet. I have been speaking about it on my stories in Instagram, so if you want to know more, go watch there. And this is something that I cannot wait to fully share. It's something that will help you avoid those mistakes and train your glutes in the most effective way so that you will have an incredible transformation. I will push you through your limits there. You don't have to think about how do I combine the exercises, what do I do, what exercises do I choose. It's all done for you, and it's something that you could do in the gym or when you have a home gym with free weights. And I am not going to tell you more for now, but I need your help because I am deciding between two names. What I have coming, it's coming end of November, beginning of February, so stay tuned, and especially to my Instagram. I will also mention it on the podcast again. But I will not give you too much away now. Stay tuned, but I need you to help me choose the name. So I am thinking about Glutes by Lina or Glutes on Fire. If you haven't been attending my glute classes, you will love what I have coming. You will love it and it will exceed your expectations. And the two names I chose because I've used the two names for my glute classes. Back in Vienna, it was Glutes by Lina, and here in Switzerland, it was Glutes on Fire. So I am between those two names. I cannot decide. So I want your opinion. Help me vote. Let me know which name I should give. The surprise that I have coming for you. And you can let me know in the comments, or you can text me on Instagram and then let me know. I really appreciate having your help for that. And other than that, just stay tuned. I will give you more details soon. And I will see you next episode. Bye bye.